Good afternoon, and welcome to episode 23 of Dinner from the Dining Car. Today, because it's now spring and it's been in the 80s and low 90s here in Southern California this last week, with same thing next week, we are going to be making a salad. We're going to be making the Chicago Rock Island Pacific's spring salad bowl with salmon. This is a relatively simple recipe, except for you'll need to roast the salmon along with one other ingredient, which I'll get to just about now. So here's what you're going to need for this recipe. You're going to need a bag of salad mix. Now you can buy romaine and green leaf, or a head of iceberg, red cabbage, and chop it up yourself. But a salad kit's a lot easier. You're going to need spinach. Now we're not going to be using this whole 8-ounce bag of spinach. We're only going to be using a couple of handfuls, maybe, 2 to 3 ounces. You're going to need cherry tomatoes. Now these we will be cutting in half for the salad. You're going to need a half of a cucumber. We're going to peel this, dice it up for the salad. You'll need some mushrooms to go in the salad. You'll also need some nuts. Now we're using cashews. You could use walnuts, you can use slivered almonds, you can use pecans. Candied pecans would probably go real well in this, but we're using cashew chunks. And the last thing for the salad is you're going to need French onions. Now, this is the French onions that you buy if you make that horrible, god-awful green bean casserole at Thanksgiving. Same thing. They're going to go in the salad. Now, as for the rest of the ingredients, you're going to need a chunk of salmon. This one's about half a pound. And you're going to need some broccoli. Now, we're not using all of this broccoli for the salad. We're only using 1 crown. We're going to... The broccoli, you chop it up real fine, and you'll just toss it with a little olive oil. And the salmon, you're going to put herbs on it. And now the herbs, not much. You'll just need a pinch of parsley, dill, thyme, and rosemary. And you'll mix those up and put it on the salmon when you roast it. You're also going to need just a tablespoon or 2 of butter. You're going to melt that, and you're going to put that on the salmon when you cook it. Now this is a salad that'll serve at least 4 people. Also, if you really want to turn this nice, get yourself a baguette or a loaf of French bread. Baguette would be better. We bought one that we're going to be baking while I'm making the salad. So it'll come out of the oven nice and hot and yummy, and we'll deal with that then. Anyway, that's... on the salmon, you're going to want to cook that ahead of time and let it cool. Same with the broccoli, because you don't want this in the salad hot. It has to be cooked, but it has to be cool. As far as a dressing, the recipe states that it should be French dressing. Well, we don't like French dressing. Never have. Neither Judy nor I like French dressing. So we are going to be using a honey mustard instead, because we prefer that. You could go with virtually, I imagine you can go with virtually any salad dressing you want on this thing, and you'll be fine. So it's a matter of taste. It's what's up to you. Anyway, that's it for the ingredients. It's actually pretty simple. So give me a chance to preheat my oven and put on my apron and my funny hat, and then we'll get back and we'll start roasting the salmon and the broccoli. See you in just a bit. Okay, we're back. We have the oven preheated to 425. Now, gotta get the melted butter and maybe some olive oil. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Make sure your hands are washed. Take your cookie sheet, spread it with aluminum foil. You're going to put down a little bit of your melted butter on one side of your cookie sheet. And you're going to take your salmon, rub that on there. This is basically so the salmon doesn't stick to the foil. Now, you're going to take your herbs. I need a paper towel. And okay, now that you have that, you're going to grab your herbs. We're going to grab a pinch of rosemary and just spread it on the salmon. You're going to grab a pinch of parsley flakes. That also goes on the salmon. Pinch of dill. Now this may take a few minutes. I thought so. Hadn't opened the dill yet. Ooh. Oh, that smells so good. That's going to be wonderful on fish. A little pinch of dill. And finally, a pinch of thyme. Just enough to kind of cover the top of the salmon. If I had a remote on the camera and could get it to zoom in, you'd see this. It looks really pretty. All right, I've already chopped up the broccoli for the salad. And it's been marinating for about a half an hour in olive oil and balsamic vinegar. And now you want to season that. Excuse me, should have had all this ready to go when I started. You're going to season that with a little bit of steak seasoning. Now I just got some brand new mills from a place called Home Central online. Got a set of four nice glass and stainless steel mills for just a little over 20 bucks. I suggest if you're looking for mills, these are the ones to go with. Anyway, you just slap a little steak seasoning on that. Let me bring this over to the camera so you can get a nice shot of it before we stick it in the oven. There you have broccoli and the seasoned salmon. And now we're just going to add just a touch more of olive oil on the broccoli because we don't want it to burn too much. And a little bit around the fish because we don't want it to burn too much. And we're going to put this in the oven, 425 degrees for 25 minutes. Then we're going to take it out and just let it sit and let it cool. Because we don't want to put that. We want this cooked, we want this roasted, but we don't want it hot when we put it in the salad. So here we go. Oh, it's nice sitting right close to the oven. Wow, that's hot. Just put that in the oven. Again, 425 degrees for 25 minutes. And when that's done and we're ready to make it, and after it's cooled, we'll be back. Oh, forgot something. Get it out of there before it gets too hot. You have to take the leftover of your butter and pour it on top of the fish as well. There. Now we can put it back in the oven. Boy, I almost forgot the good stuff. So anyway, when that comes out, we'll let it cool, and a little bit later we'll be back to make the salad. See you then. Okay, we're back. The salmon and broccoli have cooled. So now we assemble the salad. Take some of the salad greens.
That's plenty.
Ah, shoot. Ooh, there's a nice chunk. Kind of rip those up. The bigger chunks, if you want to, you can kind of rip them down. Alright, the spinach, is it just about a handful, and we're going to mix that in with the other. The roasted broccoli, which by the way, seasoning it with steak seasoning is fabulous, guys. And scrape that in there. Okay. Then you have your half a cucumber diced up relatively small. And finally you take about 10 cherry tomatoes, cut them in half, you put them in there too. The mushrooms. Now this is about 4 ounces of mushrooms. Sliced up, which, you know, I buy sliced mushrooms anyway, and then sauteed in a little olive oil and butter. These are also cooled, and they'll just go right in there too. There's very little difficulty in making this dinner. And finally comes the salmon. Like I said, this is about a half a pound of salmon. It's roasted, it's broken up into little chunks, and you toss it in there as well. All you need now, and I should have got them out ahead of time, is a pair of tongs to toss it with. And you just toss this all together.
Don't forget your countries.
Yes, thank you, Judy. You want to grab about a handful, maybe 2 handfuls of your nuts, whichever nuts you're using. Again, we're using cashews. And a couple of handfuls of the French onions. Those are good. Those are really good. Now, with the exception of the dressing, there you have it, folks. That's the salmon salad. We're going to eat this in a little bit because we're just not hungry enough yet, so we'll eat it then. So anyway, that's it, folks. Again, very simple salad. The only really hard part is roasting the salmon, and it's not that difficult either. Again, this will feed about 4 people. So if you decide you want to make this, knock yourself out. I think it's going to be absolutely delicious. And with that, that's the end of the video for the night. Thank you for coming along on this little trip. And as usual, if you have any questions, comments, or want a copy of the recipe, just email me at dinnerfromthediningcar@yahoo.com, and I'll get back to you. Thanks for coming, and have a great night.